What's going on, guys? To celebrate this episode, we're going to give away a free podcast session at the Neighborhood Studios where we film Price to Sell. And we're also going to give away a $250 gift card to Vistec. So you can go and buy your own camera gear, accessories, whatever you want to get your journey started. All you got to do, subscribe to this channel, send us a screenshot, send it to our Instagram, Price to Sell on Instagram, and we're going to pick a lucky winner. All right? Not that hard, very simple. Go and do it. But I hope you guys enjoy this episode just as much as I did. Enjoy. But before we get to the episode, the merch, guys, the hats. It's officially launched. If you haven't checked it out, check it out now. We have the white and red baseball caps with the hashtag #SLRealestate on the side. And then we also have white and black hoodies with the logo. Check it out on the website. We're gonna drop all the links in the description. Welcome back. This is the Price to Sell podcast, and today we're in New York again. This is the one you've all been waiting for. I know I've been waiting for it, but our guest needs no introduction today. We have Mr. Ryan Serhant. Thank you for coming.
Thank
you for having me.
Hey, oh yeah, you're in my house.
Yeah, I am. Thank you.
Thanks for coming to my house. Wait, this is not your. So you did a podcast in New York already?
Yeah, with Sean.
Sean who?
McPeak.
Oh, my Sean McPeak.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, crazy.
Yeah.
Nice.
In his listing in Trump Tower.
Awesome.
The new one.
Okay,
Yeah.
crazy. That's nuts. Yeah, Sean's the man. He was one of the first agents who took took that leap of faith with me
Nice.
and jumped over with his team and came over to us back when we started in 2020.
Very cool.
Yeah.
He's a tall guy, so it seems like he can just take that leap effortlessly.
Yeah,
You know?
he's a tall guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of tall people.
Yeah.
Yeah, not by choice. It's not like I look around and hire agents based on their height.
Yeah.
So I makes that very clear.
Yeah. If you're 5'5", you still have a chance.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me. Like I mentioned earlier, it's called the Price to Sell podcast. It's a real estate related podcast, and we're happy to have the number one in the world in your building.
Are you from Canada?
Yes.
God, you don't really sound like you're from Canada.
What do I sound like?
I don't know, like a regular person.
Some are Canadians.
Yeah, no, I mean, just like because we deal with a lot of Canadians. There's a lot of Canadians that are part of our education program. We do a lot of speeches in Canada. And you can tell pretty quickly when someone's from Canada, right? Because they have an accent. The same way I'm sure Americans have weird accents. But are your parents Canadian?
Italian.
Okay, so that's why.
Yeah.
Because you grew up with parents who weren't super Canadian.
They're still Canadian. I still don't know Italian.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't have Canadian accents.
No, I think it's Toronto, though.
Okay.
I think it's because, we're close.
Toronto's pretty international.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like my parents, my dad was from like Ohio and Colorado. My mom was Wisconsin and Texas. So there's like this mash of accents. And my sisters who grew up in Texas, because we moved when I was really little, so then I bounced around a lot. My sisters have thick Southern accents.
Okay.
It's really strange because we're all related.
Yeah.
And we all sound different based on where we grew up and our ages and all that. So it's interesting.
Well, I might drop a couple A's.
Go for it.
Or a boots.
Make it authentic to you, man.
I will, eh?
Okay.
I want to start off with your earlier life.
Okay.
Okay, so everyone knows you as you now. Like super energetic, killing the game, absolutely just dominating.
That's right. Yeah.
Was younger Ryan different?
Yes. Yeah, dude. I was born in Texas, grew up outside, moved to Long Island for a little bit, and then grew up outside Boston. And I had no intention of being a real estate broker. Like the worst, no way. Like if you went back in time and told me, like one day you're going to grow up and you're going to be a realtor, like that probably would be an awful experience for 10-year-old Ryan to hear.
Yeah.
But then I'd have to say, but don't worry, it gets awesome, right? Because like when I was a little kid in the 90s, even the early 2000s, the realtors that I knew were on their second or third jobs. They're all older. And it was just sort of like a job that wasn't really needed, but you just sort of do it. And a lot of moms, once the kids go to school, become realtors. And it wasn't something that younger people did after high school.
It's true.
Or, even after college. It wasn't a career that people were looking at. I don't even know. If you look back at like list of careers that young people wanted 20 years ago, I don't even think were realtors on there.
Sure.
Right. And like realtors, as part of that gig economy and that kind of, in the US anyway, 1099 contractors, where you're paying your taxes separately later, you don't have withholdings and everything. We're always the back of the line. Salespeople were always the back of the line forever. Only now has that changed. Like in the last 24 months, have salespeople moved to the front of the line and become one of the first choices for younger people, right, to get into an entrepreneurial career. And that's really changed. But early on, no, I played every single sport known to man because my parents made me, because they wanted me to be well-rounded, and I was terrible at all of them. I had to take every single course ever in all, through elementary school, high school, and college. And the only thing I was actually good at was I was an okay writer, so I could write. So I went to a writing intensive college.
Cool.
So I could write, and I could tell stories. And so I thought maybe I'll be a writer. And then theater, right? Theater was sort of my thing. And I think too, because I was super insecure and self-conscious, and because we moved around so much, I was never able to develop like that core group of friends.
True.
Like my core group of friends that I have now is one guy I went to college with, and then people I've met since I lived in New York after college. Like I'm not in touch with anyone I grew up with because I only knew them for a couple years at a time, and then we would move. And so theater gave me the opportunity to, I think, one, it was fun for me. I was good at it, but then I think I was also able to be other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like the more time I didn't have to be Ryan, the better for me.
I see.
And I think it was a weight thing. I think it was a skin thing. I had a really bad skin like until 24, right? And I think there was just a lot of insecurities there. Definitely not the cool kid in any grade. Definitely not the one with girlfriends. So I think theater enabled me to like have an outlet and be out there and be like one of just the weird theater kids. And so my goal initially was go to college, graduate, and be an actor. That's what I thought I was going to do. And that's why I moved to New York initially. It's the only reason I'm here. Otherwise I would have done something totally different.
And so you moved here, and how was that leap? Like, did you know anyone here? You just kind of came like on a whim, and it's like, let's get into this acting thing.
So I went to college in upstate New York at a small liberal arts school up on a mountain. And my parents, I went to high school outside Boston. So my life was kind of East Coast. Typically, if you want to be an actor in the United States, you move to LA. But I didn't know anyone in California. I didn't know anyone in LA. And that just really freaked me out. At least if I was in New York City, like my older brother was kind of here, but then kind of in Philadelphia. My parents were in Boston. And I had a lot of friends from college who would move down to Manhattan because that was just what you did.
Yeah.
They had real jobs though, like finance or pre-law or, like actual jobs that paid money. And so I had two friends that were in my fraternity who were going to come to New York who had jobs. One was, they're actually both in law. And we all just split an apartment. So we found a 1-bedroom apartment. We put up 2 walls and we turned it into a 3-bedroom on 66th Street and First Avenue. And so I had people to live with. So my rent was $1,000 and we all shared that apartment, had 1 bathroom. It was great. And that's why I came to New York, because New York also is a strong theater scene. And so I just thought, anything can happen, but at least there is like a strong acting business here. Just very hard.
Yeah.
Very hard. Very tough. Significant amounts of rejection every day to your face because of your face.
Because of the face.
Well, yeah, it's personal, right?
Yeah, you're right.
You go into an audition and you stand there for 10 hours to try to be seen, and then you go in and they look at you and they're like, nope, don't like you. And then you have to leave. Like that's it, right? Yeah. Because of your face, your hair, you're too tall, you're too this, you're too small, you're too big, you're too white, you're too blah, blah, blah. Like it's very, very superficial. And then if you fit the part, then you start opening your mouth. If you don't sound good, then you pass on you, right? And then if you don't have the right chemistry, then they pass on you. So it's like you get rejected 10 times a day, every single day, and there's no salary, there's no payment. And so most actors then have survival jobs, right? And I never wanted a survival job because I knew that if I had a survival job, meaning like if I waited tables or if I was temping or doing something like that, that would be my life. Like that really becomes your job. Whatever pays you, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Everything else becomes a bonus. And then I just knew that one day I'd wake up and be 40 years old, still waiting tables, trying to get my big break.
Yeah.
And so I made it even more difficult for myself, and I just lived off of construction job savings that I had from the summers and just went on auditions all day, every day. And the one piece of advice like my dad gave me when they dropped me off here and they were petrified that I had chosen this life was both of my roommates, one worked for a corporate law firm called Cadwalader, which is huge. The other worked for the district attorney's office. And so they both wanted to be lawyers and then they were going to go to law school. And they had crazy hours. And so my dad said, you don't have a job, you don't have a boss, you're going to try this little acting thing, which I think in his mind meant prostitution. He's like, you got to make sure that you wake up before they do, you go to bed after they do. No matter what, like follow their rhythm in their days, and you have to work harder if you're going to try to make this for yourself. And that was a big like career moment for me in terms of like instilling work ethic.
For sure.
Right. That I just was able to see, okay, what time do they wake up? All right, that's what I'm going to do, and just work at it. Otherwise, it's just easy to be like 22 and in New York City and not do anything.
Yeah.
You know, just eat ramen and hang out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super important. Like, good on you for even like noticing that. I feel like even that rejection probably really weathered you for what would soon be your real estate business, you know, and like the confidence and like learning how to deal with no's.
Yeah.
Right. But let's jump into, so like, how did real estate come about?
I ran out of money.
Okay.
Yeah. 2 years later, I'm in New York City, and it's spring of 2008, and I'd had some success. I'd done some theater. I kind of found an agent. I'd gotten a print agent, and I'd gotten onto a soap opera. So I did a soap opera in the United States called As the World Turns, and I played a doctor. And then what was called the Writers' Strike, which is the Writers Guild of America in the United States, went on strike because they wanted more money. And that killed all the soap operas, because soap operas write a new episode and a half every day. And so what does a soap opera do to save money? They fire cast. Yeah. And so I got on for 4 months, and then they killed me. And so I got killed off. I took a syringe to the heart.
Oh, shit.
On the rooftop of the hospital, awaiting my helicopter so I could do my research in peace.
Yeah.
And my grandmother killed me. So that was a bad day, which basically meant I lost my job.
Yeah.
Right? So the soap opera paid $844 per episode. After all the withholdings and tax and everything, it was like $500 and change. And so I was able to like kind of buy my time with stuff like that. I hand modeled a little bit. I was actually a pretty great hand model.
How are mine? Shit.
I think you should stick to real estate.
Yeah, right? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what she says too, yeah.
Yeah. I have very long fingers.
Yeah.
And so I was able to, and I don't have like veins or anything in my hands for some reason. And so
that's what they like?
My hands, because your hands need to be androgynous, right, in those photos. Otherwise, unless it's like a hand grabbing a tractor, and then they want like a man hand, which wouldn't have been me. Yeah. But for like holding Nespresso capsules and holding iPhones and all the stuff that I did, that paid way better, right? That was like $1,000 a day.
Wow.
Yeah, way better. But then it got to the point where I was like every month nervous about money. And a friend of mine that I went to school with, who had no money saved up, so he had to go and get some sort of job. He got into real estate doing rentals. Yeah. New York City is 70% rental. Okay. Maybe even more, actually. And so you'd post ads on Craigslist, on the internet. You'd meet people on the street corner. You take them to open listings. Hopefully they'd take one. Commission was typically 1 month's rent. Right? You'd split it with the brokerage house that you hung your license with. You get 50%, you move on to the next one. And it's just a volume game. Yeah. And it sounded awful to me. But he was like, listen, theater and real estate brokerage are the same exact thing. You memorize information and you play an improv game all day, every day. Yeah. You're going to meet strangers and you're going to kind of feel them out, say yes and to everybody, and just be who they need you to be. Right? If they're chatty, you're chatty. Yeah. If they're high energy, you're matching their energy. If they're low energy and serious and in their phone, you're keeping the conversation going, but you're not being the yin to their yang. You're keeping it moving. Talk about everything but real estate. Yeah. Show them around. Make them a friend, because people hate being sold, but they love shopping with friends. Yes. And you will make money, and do it. And it was a lot. I just didn't have any other options. So I got my real estate license. I started with him. My first day was the day Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy in New York City. The Great Recession kicked off. That was day one for me. And I just started meeting people through the internet and just started renting them apartments. And I got kind of addicted to it. Like the first time you rent someone an apartment and you make $1,000, I'm like, what if I did this every day? And the rejection was annoying. but about 85% of all newly licensed salespeople in the United States anyway quit in 12 months, right? For me, they all quit because they can't afford it, right? But mostly it's because of the rejection. Because no matter what people say, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. I want to work for myself. I want to be a millionaire, blah, 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 blah. And then when you actually try to do it and you have no job, you have no boss, no one tells you what to do, and it's risky all day, every day, I'll take the 9 to 5 again. I'll go back to selling TVs, right? Way better. Real estate wasn't for me. And you make up excuses, right? So you take the paycheck. I was so used to not being paid. Like I worked for free for 2 years as an actor. Like I played a tree for $100 once. Like whatever I could do, I passed out flyers on the street so I could work out for free at a gym. And I was used to rejection that was so personal that when people didn't take an apartment for me or buy a house for me or rent an apartment for me, it was never because of my face. Like it was never because of my voice, right? It was because they either didn't want it or they took something else and worked with somebody else, or they just sucked, I don't know. And I just thought like, oh, all right, snooze, you lose, move on to the next one. There's 8 billion people on the planet now. There's a lot more business to be done with other people. Why focus on the ones that don't want to work with me? I'll just focus on the ones that do want to work with me.
Exactly. That's huge nowadays too, especially on social media, putting your authenticity out there.
Yep.
But let's fast forward to, so first off, just for struggling agents out there, because we are in a time, right? There's a downtime. A lot of people are struggling or maybe thinking of quitting.
Sure.
Right? Especially that 80%, like you mentioned.
Yep.
What were your struggles in that first year? Like what were your hardest challenges?
Well, I'm not from New York. So I became a real estate agent in a city that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
I only knew like 10 blocks in New York City. I knew the subway system when I got into it. And I knew kind of New York, but not the way a real estate agent needs to know it. Like I didn't know the streets, the corners, the people, the shop. Like I didn't know it. And my competition was from here.
Yeah.
They went to the schools here. They went to the churches and synagogues here. Their families were in it. They had lead flow from their community, all the stuff, right? I had none of that.
Yeah.
I had a MapQuest directions printed out on a piece of paper in my pocket that I'd like look at. Like when I had to like point to signs, I'd be like, oh, we're going over there. And I would quickly look on my right hand and be like, where the fuck am I going? Why do these streets all make sense for horses only? I don't understand. Because, New York City has the grid, which is easy. And then you have below the grid, which was made by like people on crack, and it's all like upside down and up, it's all over the place. And so you got to know it. So that was definitely my first challenge. Like people would leave me on the street because I just had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
And then I just didn't know anybody. Like that was my second biggest challenge. And I didn't know my shit, I just didn't know anything. And it was a really, really big challenge for me because why would anyone spend money with me if the internet knows more, right? It's what you know and who you know, and then it's how you know it, and then you put that together. And I learned that pretty quickly though, and I then realized, okay, so all I have to do, because I would watch other successful agents, right? Because it's like I couldn't go back into theater and make no money. I have to pay my rent.
Yeah.
Right. I have to make $2,000 a month. 2008, 2009. My rent was $1,100 a month. As long as I can then add additional monies to that for food and go to the movies and whatnot, then I'll survive and I don't have to move home. Like my fear was move home. Because if I leave New York, I'll never come back.
For sure.
And if I move in with my parents, I'll be there for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And so I got to figure out how to stay here. And I saw confident agents. It's not like they were better. It's not like they were more put together. They had lead flow that I would never have. But they could just speak confidently about facts. Yeah. They wouldn't even give opinions. It wasn't, this is why this house is happening. It wasn't, this is why this is going on. It was more, they just knew stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I've memorized entire books before for theater. Like I did a show called Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, which is this thick and it's all talking, right? You have to memorize like 300 pages of text. Wow. And so I trained my brain to memorize information really, really, really easily. And so I had a really good memory by that point, not by birth, just by training. And so I was like, okay, anytime I meet a client, I'm going to memorize everything I can about the buildings, about the people, about the market. And I'm just going to regurgitate it. I'm just going to talk about what I now know. And that is going to look like confidence. And so that when people say, how long you've been doing this, I can just say a while. And then start talking about the architect, the developer, the number of units in this building, right? This building is 700 feet. The elevation is 650. There's 179 apartments in here, right? Hans was the architect. The developer was this guy. Did you actually know this? Did you actually know what used to be here? And I'm just, sounds like I've been doing this 1,000 years.
Yeah.
I just fucking looked it up 10 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I just started rinsing and repeating that, and I saw that I could do more deals that way. And that's how I overcame that initial, like, I don't know things.
Yes.
For sure.
And it's super important because a lot of people think that, okay, let me list a house and put on MLS and just kick my feet back.
Yeah.
See what comes in. But it's not real. Yeah.
I wish.
Last year.
That'd be great.
It's not anymore.
Yeah.
But so now let's move into the time when $1 Million Listing Audition comes around.
Yeah.
You see that.
Yep.
Do you think that, so now it's like, okay, here's something I've studied for, I've practiced my whole life, I've wanted to do.
Yep.
And real estate combined.
Yep.
Let's go after it. Like, how was that?
Yeah. In hindsight, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
In real time, there was a casting notice for the New York version of $1 Million Listing, which was a show based in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And they were looking.
Were you familiar with it?
I knew of it, but I'd never watched it.
Okay.
I didn't have TV. I didn't have cable. Fair.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was so the casting notice was there, and they were looking for the best agents under 30, like power brokers. Blah, 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 blah. And I'd been doing it for like 18 months, and it was like, that's basically me.
Yeah.
Right. I'd sold like one apartment by that time, and I actually gotten lucky and gotten onto a building. So I was doing sales for an entire new development by that time. So this is March of 2010. Okay. So it's about a year and a half after I've gotten into the business. And there was an open casting call.
Yeah.
3,000 real estate agents showed up at the Hudson Hotel in Times Square. There was a line everywhere, and all these agents did more business than me. But none of them knew how to be in front of a camera, right? None of them knew how to sell themselves, which is something I also learned like every time we moved when I was a little kid. I had to go into a new school and make new friends. How do I resell myself every time? And you had 30 seconds in front of the camera to tell them why you.
Yeah.
Right. And I'd also known, because I'd done the reality TV show before for the soap opera.
Yeah.
To get onto the soap opera, I did a reality show called Intern, and it was on the internet, and I won, and that's how I got onto the soap. I just knew you have to pick a character, right? You have to be the one who does what.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be the thing. And I looked around and was like, okay, so I'm the tall white guy who is witty and maybe kind of a cocky asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that truly me? No, but can I be that guy really well? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And all these other people are going to do their own thing or be weird in front of a camera. So I'm going to lean real hard into that and see if it works. And it worked.
Yeah.
And so that first audition was 30 seconds. And then they followed up a month later and was like a written thing. And then they followed up 2 months later and it was like a Skype. And then they followed up 3 months later and they said, okay, we've narrowed you down to 16 or 17 from the 3,000. We're going to come to New York and follow you for half a day, see how you test on camera, just show us what your life is like.
Yeah.
And that's when I got it, because that's when I was like, all right, everyone else is just going to show a normal day. A normal day as a real estate agent is answering emails.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, and sitting in the car.
Or pacing back and forth on the phone.
Yeah. Right. That's the day.
Yeah.
So everyone else is going to show them that, or just do a boring tour.
Yeah.
So I lined up the greatest half day ever.
Hmm.
Right. I told them, like, all right, fine. You want to follow me around? 5 a.m. Trinity Boxing Club downtown.
Yeah.
And they're from LA, and they were like 5 a.m. Like, I mean, is that okay? They're like, yeah, no, sure, fine. We'll meet you there. So they're all tired, and they met me there. I borrowed a friend's Range Rover. I'd never driven in the city before, so that was terrifying.
Yes.
And so I borrowed a friend's Range Rover because I told him I had a Range Rover. So I'm like, fuck, now I have to get a Range Rover. And so I had a Range Rover. I had redone my apartment like that night before. I went to Macy's and got like new furniture and new stuff, so it didn't look like such a dorm room.
Yeah.
I got new suits, and because I wanted to project, I wasn't lying. I was projecting the future Ryan that I knew that they wanted to cast.
I love that. Yeah.
Right. And that's what my second book ended up being about.
Exactly. Yeah.
But anyway, so so I put that all together, and then I just took them on a joyride through the city. I told every single person I know, I was like, tomorrow from 6 a.m. to noon, call me. Doesn't matter what I say or if I pick up, just keep calling.
Yeah.
No matter what. So while they were in the car, my phone would just not stop ringing.
Shout out to those people.
Yeah, they were a huge help to me.
Yeah.
And then I got a friend. His name is Tobin Ludwig, who I'd known from improv. And I was like, listen, can you afford a $3 million apartment? He's like, no. I'm like, but could you one day?
Yeah.
He's like, sure. I'm like, great. I need you to show up at this apartment. We're going to go on camera, and I'm going to show you an apartment. And he was like, all right, I got it. He showed up with like a Wall Street Journal and like a bacon, egg, and cheese. He was angry about the market. And I was like, fucking thank you, Tobin. And we walked through, and it was the greatest showing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know what to do. And I tell this story in the book, but I didn't know what to do. Then I didn't have anything to do the rest of the day because I didn't really have like a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I did to the casting directors and the people there exactly what a girl had done to me once before, which was she got up and went to the bathroom and then she just left.
Yeah.
Right. Which like is a devastating thing to happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
But it fucking makes you want her more. You're like, God damn it. Why would you leave? Right? Because if she had come back and done the thing and then said goodbye, it would have been awkward. And like, it would have been my decision not to continue to follow up.
Yeah.
But because she just pieced out, like, what? So I went to the bathroom. I tried to figure out something else for us to do. I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know. And I was like, you know what? Guys, sorry. I just got a really, really important call. I've got to go take care of this deal. I hope this was enough. If it wasn't enough, it is what it is. So sorry, but best of luck with the casting. And I just got in the car and I left. It was like, that was the worst. It was the dumbest thing that I've ever done. I can't believe it. But what happened was I left them in this random penthouse apartment in Gramercy. And they were like, who is that guy?
Yeah.
What just happened?
Yeah.
Like 1,000 people just called him. He's running around. I think he just went to meet a Saudi Arabian billionaire uptown. And not long after that, they cast me and we started shooting in December of 2010. The show came out in 2012 and the rest is history from there.
That's amazing, man. What a story. Because I read your book when I didn't know any of that, right? I'm sure not many people did.
Yeah.
So just to hear that is great. Like just blows my mind. I don't even know what the hell was going through your head during that time. Like just leave them there,
No, well, dude, it was. Wait, all right, cool. Some of the hardest auditions I've ever gone on, but like with the directors who really know their stuff, you're not walking in and reading a scene. You're not doing a monologue, right? You walk in kind of like by yourself, empty on stage, and they say, "Show me something," and you're like, "Old MacDonald had a farm. I don't know. What do you want me to see?" And people freak out. So you got to be able to think on your feet and you have to be able to make things happen, right? You are a showman.
Yeah.
The top real estate agents in the world, the top salespeople, they're showmen, right? They can make things happen in a moment. I've got something to show you at all times, right? I've got something to talk to you about at all times. I will control the moment, right? I'll control the scene. I'll control this table in some way, shape, or form. And that training had really, really, really helped me, especially for those moments. And then filming $1 Million Listing was like mass chaos, right? Because then it was a metaphorical shotgun to the head to be successful. Because if I wasn't successful on camera, the whole world was going to know.
For sure.
So it was like, talk about major potential embarrassment.
Yeah.
And I
had no choice.
I took that very seriously. Other people don't. I took it very seriously. It was like, this is an opportunity I think a lot of people would kill for, no matter how many haters there are out there. Yeah. So I'm going to milk this till it's over.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
The best mentality to have. Look at you now. Right?
Right. Now, look how awesome I am now.
Look how awesome you are now.
Just cut that, please. It's the worst line I've ever said in my life.
He's awesome. Don't cut it. But so here's my next question. It's like, do you think all of that was a coincidence? Like you had that pivotal moment in your career through TV, which is your ultimate goal, essentially pre-real estate? Or do you feel like that might have been like your destiny?
I don't know. I think, listen, everything ends up happening for a reason, right? And then we tell ourselves that, so therefore we believe it. I don't know if it's actually true. But I do believe what everyone says is that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Like I didn't know one day I was going to be a real estate agent or a real estate agent on TV. But I had prepared my whole life to be in front of a camera, to be on stage, to perform. And then I was preparing to actually be a great real estate agent. I just wasn't one yet. And I thought one day I would be on a TV show, and it never happened. I thought I'd be in a movie, and it never happened. And then it was only when I quit acting and was like, nope, I'm a realtor now. I need to pay my bills. I need to have a job. I got to figure this out. And I don't have a boss. So this is like not that bad. I can still do stuff that I want to. I like the freedom. And that audition came together, and it was like the clash of all of my worlds in one moment, right? Which was the theater stuff, the acting stuff, the performance stuff, which is performing as me, not a character, right?
Yeah.
It's, you got to know how to perform as you, right? Who are you, but on, versus just you on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then all the preparation for, real estate and actually doing this, which is, I think, what made the show successful, because it wasn't bullshit. Like, it wasn't just meh. It wasn't like walking around and showing houses as if you're in a magazine. It was actually transacting and doing deals and being the authentic version of you, just heightened.
Yes.
And so I don't know, I think it was more serendipitous than it was coincidence.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so cool to see all that just come together. It's like a full circle thing for you.
Yeah, it's a different time though. Like, to remember, the world moves real fast.
Yeah.
When Million Dollar Listing started, YouTube existed, but it wasn't what it is today.
Yeah.
Right? There was no Instagram. Social was Twitter and Facebook. There was no video on your phone. Most people, even in 2012 when it came out, like most people still didn't have iPhones, right? Most people were still on Blackberries and flip phone. I had a Blackberry. There was no Netflix. Netflix was DVDs.
Yeah.
Right? There was no streaming. There was none of that. So the access to content was so limited. It was like reality TV was the Kardashians, Survivor, American Idol, right? These big game shows, The Real World, right? The Osbournes on MTV, like that stuff had kind of be there. The Housewives, right? The Bravo thing had happened. And so there was a limited audience. Sorry, there was a limited supply for this massive amount of demand.
Yes.
Right, that I think we just hit at the perfect timing, and it lasted, 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. And now, fast forward, you have everything's on camera. So again, those skills are just, pouring into the new age of real estate and how we're able to promote ourselves. So super cool. I want to segue into some mindset stuff,
Sure.
I know you're big into energy, karma, things of that nature. Do you think that your awareness of these things have helped you in your success?
I'm a big work ethic guy, right? I do believe that you can't change your circumstances, but you can change your energy. I think that people who are successful bring the right energy into the room, whether the energy is accepted or not.
Yes.
And I think that's really important. I think that every day you wake up, chemical imbalances aside, you have the opportunity to see sunshine or see clouds, and it's your choice. I think seeing clouds and sadness is a much easier choice, which is why it's easier for people to choose, right? And I think misery loves company. I think you are the sum of the people you surround yourselves with, right? So, knowing all of that, what made sales so unique for me was because there was no ceiling. There was no boss. And I think where a lot of people find that really scary, for me, I found it like really, really liberating. That I can do whatever the fuck I want all day, every day.
Yep.
No one is ever going to come to me and say I sold too much. No one's going to say, Ryan, you've made too much money, right? Other than the government. Like there's no limit to what I can do. If I want to start an education business, let's do it. So we did it. If I want to start my own real estate media company and have a production studio, let's do it. If I want to write a book, if I want to do whatever the fuck I want to do, I can do. And that freedom, I think, is very, very real, especially now, right? For the generation coming up now, I think flexibility is the currency of opportunity. And that really drives people today, right? Which is why it's harder and harder to find somebody willing to work for minimum wage. Because you don't need to anymore. And so, but the grind, I think, is very real, right? Wanting more for yourself is real. Understanding who the future you is 2 years from now, I think is really real. And I think the people that don't understand that just live in the day, right, are the ones who have the hardest time. And those are the things that I believe in.
Yeah. Let's talk about the future stuff, because I know you're really big into Ryan 2030.
Yes.
Your future boss.
Yes.
He is your boss.
Old man me.
Old man you. What does that mentality do for you?
I think you all need, everyone needs a hero, right? everyone also needs some form of a God. Okay. And I don't mean that in the religious sense. I mean, there is something bigger than you today that you fight for every day, that you work for. And I don't think it's like your family or this or that, right? You need something a bit bigger, right? That you can't necessarily control. And so for me, all of that combined into understanding how fast time moved and how, oh my God, I've been doing this now for 15 years. What the fuck? Like, it's been so long, but it hasn't. It's moved so fast.
For sure.
I am going to be Ryan 2025 before I know it. Like, I'm going to be Ryan 2030 before I know it. And I started my own business in 2020 in part because future me in my head from 2008 to 2020 was always Ryan 2020. It's just easier, right?
Yeah.
Let's pick a decade, like 2020, that's it.
Yeah.
And so that guy's life better be awesome, And so for me now, like Ryan 2030, every single thing I do today is for that guy.
Yeah.
Obviously Ryan 2029, Ryan tomorrow, all that, we'll take care of. But like, that's the guy, right? That's the guy. In 8 years from today, what is his life like? And it better be awesome.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's going to come back in time and kick my ass. Because you don't remember like the tiredness from the airplanes and this and that, and like you're exhausted and the hard work and the hustle and oh my God, it's over.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, it's always just been about short-term pain for long-term gain and really, really putting in the work so that future Ryan has the greatest life ever. Because that's what I want. Otherwise, I'm going to be, waiting tables when I'm 40, like I said at the beginning.
Yeah.
And for what? Because Ryan today was too tired. I've done vlogs about this and talked about it a lot, but the difference between amateurs and professionals is that professionals make decisions for themselves based on their commitments. Amateurs make decisions based on their feelings, right? And I say that a lot to people I meet, especially to salespeople who are like, I was too tired. I couldn't call him back. Like, dude, you literally are just lowering your own expectations for yourself. You're letting yourself down. Like, what is the worst that can happen, especially in this business? Like, you're not going to die. And as long as you don't do anything illegal, you're not going to go to jail. Those are the two worst things to happen. Death and jail. Everything else, just try it. And push forward.
It's been a big inspiration for me too. Like the whole future me. Like I have a map 2030.
Yeah.
That kicks my ass every day. It's a little rough.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I walked into our hotel room. We're staying at the Arlo Soho.
Yep.
Arlo, check it out. And they had fortune cookies.
Yep.
And I read this fortune, and it said, it was yesterday. Okay. It said, "Future you is watching you." But what are they saying? XOXO. So I just thought that was like, funny.
Yeah.
Coincidence in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of creepy.
I put that there, kind of creepy.
There you go.
Yeah, that was honestly from Arlo. But,
yeah, there you go. I love that. Yep.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like it's a super cool mentality, and like being as busy as you are, and you have like amazing systems, and like I really like your business, the way you run it is super inspiring.
Yeah.
How do you balance like the family time?
I don't.
Okay, fair, simple answer.
Yeah, I try, right? Like when I'm here during the week, I try to take Zena to school in the mornings. It's hard, but I try. I try to be home twice a week before she goes to bed so I can see her. And Saturday is Dadder Day, right? Like that's since I got married and we had the baby. That's the goal. Otherwise, I work 6 days a week in full. And Saturdays I do work a little bit, but I really try not to do appointments and things.
Yeah.
And in New York, it's fine, right? And you can do that. And so we try to schedule date nights as best we possibly can, but it's hard, man. Like you spend 12 hours a day doing one thing and then you get home and the last thing you want to do is like, we're professional talkers.
Yeah.
All I do all day long is talk. If you asked Amelia, what's the thing I hate doing the most? It's probably talking. Yeah. Because by the time I get home, I just don't want to talk. Like I've just been talking and so much talking.
She's looking at me over there.
Yeah, it's a lot, right? Yeah. It's a lot. Yeah, it's just a lot. So you just kind of want to like decompress. And so it's hard. So you have to make that effort at home to like connect and be present. And it's hard, and to not look at your phone, right? It's really, really hard to do.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's hard. So
I'm getting stared at right now.
You're just trying to schedule, right? You try to schedule as best you possibly can. Yeah. And then you forget, right? I don't know. You can ask Amelia. I'm terrible at it. Like she gets mad at me once a day. And I'm a work in progress. I try.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, but there's a bigger goal here.
For sure.
Right? There's a bigger career here that we're trying to build, right? Something much, much bigger than just myself.
Yeah.
That I think one day, hopefully, I'm not in everything as much as I am now. Because now I'm on top of the business, I'm running the businesses, but I'm also in them at the same time. Like I'm in appointments, I'm in showings, I'm doing negotiations, and then I'm also creating the content. I'm also making the hiring decisions. I'm also making the executive. I'm also in the meetings. I'm also doing the traveling. I'm also doing the speeches. I'm also doing the filming, right? I'm also doing the writing. And so it all happens all at the same time. And I have a lot of help, obviously. It's not just me, but it's hard, It's hard to balance.
But Ryan 2030 is going to have that time.
You think so?
More time.
I don't know, man. I say that, but he probably just has higher quality problems.
Yes.
Right.
Fair.
He probably has higher quality work and higher quality problems and higher quality stress. You know, because the numbers just get bigger, and so the stress is a lot more. Like if I could go, I was either Sean McPeak or a bunch of our agents here. Like we always talk about, inflation's impact on pricing. And how stressful like the $4,000 monthly rentals were in 2009, and how like if you lost that, it was like, oh my God, you're so stressed. Yeah. Today, on Friday of this past week, I sold an apartment for $66 million.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right,
congrats.
So that was stressful, in a different way.
Yeah.
Right, in a different way. But it's still there. It's just a higher quality stress.
Yeah,
and the numbers are much different.
How is that $250 million stress level?
Coming along. There's actually not as much stress on that one.
It looks incredible, by the way.
Yeah, it's insane.
On that.
That apartment's insane. The staging's almost done. Thank God. Big apartment. It's tough to stage, almost 18,000 square feet. But you know what's so great about the luxury market? You know exactly who your buyer is. Mm-hmm. The buyer pool is so limited.
Yes.
The more expensive the properties get, you know who the buyer is. And so it's just a matter of time before one of those people buys that property.
Yeah.
The lower the price, the bigger the buyer pool, and it's fine in a good market. But in a bad market, you're like, who do I market? I guess I'm marketing to the globe. I guess I have to tell everybody. And then it's just about price. And then it's discussions about price adjustments. And it's, it's much harder to sell a $2.5 million apartment sometimes than it is to sell a $250 million apartment. I
agree. Different mindsets too. It's like a lot more, like I find like my higher net worth clients are way easier to deal with. It's a smoother process. Things get done quicker. Decisions are made.
Yeah, deals don't die over $1,000.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yes. For the most part. I mean, sometimes, but for the most part, you're dealing with people who, they move in $100,000 decisions, right? Instead of like $500 decisions, which is why everyone should want to be in a luxury market if you have that market at your fingertips. Yeah. A lot of people talk to me like, oh, I want to be in luxury. I'm like, okay, how big is that market for you? Mm-hmm. Like, what's the TAM for that? What's it for that size? And they're like, well, 2 houses sold over $1 million in my market last year. I'm like, then that's probably a bad business for you to be in.
Yeah.
Like, how you sell one of them and you're 50% of the market? That's not great. Mm-hmm. If your market is 300 to 600,000, then that's your market. Just do more of it, right? And start to expand. How can you expand? How can you go to different markets? How can you take that leap?
Yeah, it's true. So let's, I want to get into 2023. Okay. Realtors.
Yep.
What are they focusing on? What do they need to do to stay ahead?
A lot.
Okay.
I think the competition is heavy. Mm-hmm. More and more agents are getting into the business now than ever before. It's one of the whole reasons we started an education business, right? Sales training for the new world, sales training for the new economy, because it just didn't exist. Like I could not find a great training program where I could have courses about anything I want to learn, where I could have live sessions with people who are actually in the business, right? Where I could have a coach, I could have mentorship, I could have people that could help me build my brand and think about my business and a whole movement. It just didn't exist, so we created it. Yes. And I think kind of, investing in yourself is the number one thing that agents have to do moving forward. Really focus on that personal brand. Your personal brand is your lead generator so that you can wake up a brand instead of waking up a broker. right? Wake up with leads in your inbox. Like that's what you want. Because at the end of the day, real estate agents are lead generators. That is it. Your job is to create business every day. If you don't like doing that or can't do that, then this is not the business for you, right? Otherwise, you can just be a shower, and open doors and turn on lights, which anybody can do. And so like sales and the sales career comes down to lead generation. How can you build that pipeline and focus on business growth every day? And I think focusing on that personal brand and building that brand with all the tools we have at our fingertips now, right? Completely mobile is so much easier today than it ever used to be. And you just have to try, right? You just have to work on it.
And you have a course launching Friday?
We have right now we have a Black Friday sale that goes out today.
Okay.
That's our core curriculum for a massive discount. I wasn't going to do a Black Friday sale, but then the world's on fire and everyone's angry all the time. So I got a flamethrower from Elon Musk, and we took a flamethrower to the roof and we lit a computer on fire because we lit the negativity on fire, right? The news media. So that starts today and it goes through the weekend, I guess. Our next course comes out at the beginning of next year, and it's how to close and negotiate.
Very cool. Very cool. So I do want to, I do have some questions from the fans out there.
Oh.
Okay. And so I want to end this off.
Like your mom?
Like 80% are her.
Okay.
I'm just not going to read hers.
Okay, got it.
So we're going to stick to the 20.
Got it.
All right.
No problem.
So first one, and this is going to be a rapid fire. All right. Just quick answers, best you can. Let's do it.
Okay.
What should a schedule for a new agent look like in this climate?
You need to wake up early. Right? Wake up early and move your body. First, like either go for a jog, go for a walk, work out, stretch, anything. Move your body. It sets the tone for your entire day. I've always believed that, especially in this business where you're an independent contractor, you need to do the hardest part of your day first. And working out is hard and it sucks. Yeah. Right? So get it out of the way, move your body, wake up, clean out email, and then book your day on 15-minute increments and create the busy. A lot of agents are like, well, I have nothing to do today. So figure it out, right? Book calendar time. One of the things that I've always teach to everyone is our finder, keeper, doer kind of program for building out your day. So you're finding business, keeping business, doing business. Now all of a sudden your calendar is full. Now you have stuff to do. It's going to create income down the line. So just do it. Be fully booked. Try to have a meal with one other person once a day if you can, right? If you can, meet 5 new people every single day, add them to your Rolodex if you can. Go home, enjoy your life, wake up, rinse and repeat.
Love it. You heard that, whoever you were asking. Next one. What was a full circle moment for you?
A full circle moment for me. I guess, there's been a lot. I don't know what would make the most sense to tell you. We took a video of a townhouse. We did we do our property tours, right? And that's something that the company offers to all our agents. COVID hits, no one can move. Everyone's freaking out. How do I sell anything? We already have property tours of every single thing we do. We had always been doing that. So it's like, genius. So we had this house, 357 West 17th Street, crazy townhouse, very expensive. I think we were asking then, I guess it was maybe 20 million at the time. And then we target market, right, heavily. We don't just take pretty photos and stick them on the internet. We actually do the work to get property sold. And so we were targeting kids of wealthy parents, because kids have influence on families, right? And so like a 13-year-old girl in New Jersey sees the property tour, shows it to her parents. Parents come through in the middle of COVID, can't move anywhere, New York City on total lockdown, and bought that house for just under $15 million virtually. Wow. So through content, through the risk that we had taken to create content leading into it, that was a big kind of content to commerce full circle moment for me when that happened.
Yeah, that's awesome. And now you're doing that quite a bit.
Yeah, every day.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Next one. I promise these are some are interesting, okay? What product do you use in your hair?
I put in leave-in conditioner in my hair because I have like very curly, very wispy gray hair now. Yeah. And so the only thing that works, otherwise my hair is like all over the place, is conditioner, and I just leave it there.
Okay, love it.
Yeah.
When you eat ice cream, do you use a spoon or a fork?
I don't know who the fuck uses a fork. So I use a spoon. I really try not to eat ice cream anymore, but if I were to, I would use a spoon.
Okay. This is kind of a question for me, but how is it? How do you deal with dating a Greek woman?
Well, I'm married to one now. Yeah. I mean, dating Amelia, she's just sort of like one day she slept over and she never left.
Okay.
And like she's still there.
Fair.
And like there's a baby now.
Ah.
So I don't know. Like if I don't think she's ever going to go home now. I think we live together.
Marina's been doing the same thing to me. I see how it works. Probably a cultural thing.
Yeah, maybe. I also think Amelia didn't have any stuff. I think she was in New York for a short period of time and I met her and then she kept extending for like a week and a week and a week. Dude, Greeks are such a unique breed. They're very, very emotional.
Yeah.
Very, very family sensitive. And as long as you just set the expectations with them and you emote and you're present and you're there for them, everything will be okay, right? When you don't, then everything gets lit on fire.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Sparta, just the whole 300.
Yeah. There's a lot. It's very loud. Right? Greeks are also it's just like a lot.
Yeah.
The first thing, like a cultural difference for me, one of the first early ones was like, I met with her parents and we went to dinner in Tribeca. Okay. I look at eating dinner as like I am surviving. We need to eat dinner. When dinner is over, we leave. Then dinner's done, right? Isn't that what happens? Like the house I grew up in, like was very, very conservative, very waspy. Like dinner is served, you eat, you talk for a minute, dinner's over. Like that's it, right? So I tried to pay the bill, like when dinner was over, and it was like I just didn't understand. Like the world came to an end.
Yeah,
it's like no, you pay the bill when everyone's done. I'm like I don't get it. Food was done like 30 fucking minutes ago. What are we still talking about? Why are we getting coffee? Like dinner's over.
Yeah.
Like we've been here for like 3 hours. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like I have things to do. Like I can't sit here and talk. Like what all this talking, is it going to be productive to my life? That's the biggest culture. Like I have such a hard time spending time. Like I have a very hard time putting the time because my brain is so wired to being productive.
For sure.
Like even hanging out with friends, like I do it very rarely. And when I do it, no offense to my friends, but I feel like I'm doing this because I have to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we should be friends. I feel like I should have friends.
Yeah.
Like putting the time to like have a good time just is really difficult for me to do.
Yeah. I'm sure she can agree over there, but she's Spartan kicking my door down when we finish and I want to just go right on the computer to work.
Yeah.
So it's quite hilarious. It's not just you. I understand now.
Well, when you take an hour and a half to cook a nice meal, I'm like, put your phone away. Enjoy the food that I just slaved making.
Yeah.
Literally. Spend some time with me.
I love you. So next one. How much business comes off your social media videos?
A lot. Well, I mean, we built a whole company around it now.
Yeah.
I mean, lead flow is massive. So agents who are here are given what's called house leads that come through. It's a mix. I mean, not all of them are great, right? But there's a lot. I mean, we sell through social every day.
Your email just came in. Black Friday sale 80% off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom. Just like that.
Okay. An hour earlier than I thought, but okay.
What's it like having direct access to one of the greatest minds in Canadian real estate, Justin Conacow?
Oh, I thought you were going to say yourself. Justin Conacow. Justin's the man. He's been a part of the course in our pro family for a long, long time. He's been we've been able to develop a cool friendship.
Yeah.
During this period. So he's really, really cool. I love that guy.
Yeah, he helped set this up. So
yeah,
thank you. Shout out,
JK.
And then my final question for you
is,
what do you think of Serhant Toronto?
Yeah, one day we'll come to Canada. It's a logistical process to go international. I've got a handful of states I got to take care of first.
Yeah.
But dude, people reach out to me about Canada all the time. I got a developer call for a tower in Toronto last week.
Cool.
There's a lot, right? There's a lot to do in Canada. So eventually, I definitely want to do it and do it with the right people.
Yeah, that was from me, by the way, that question.
All right, when the time's right.
That was directly from me.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thanks, man.
I mean, I like to I like to end it off with like one piece of wisdom, always directed to the newer agents. A lot of my viewers are newer in the business and learning from it. So one piece of advice to the new agent out there.
Don't take a day off for your first 3 years. That's it. Like this business is not rocket science. It's not that hard, right? You just have to put in the work. If you take care of the work will take care of you. Like there's a reason I say that all the time. Like, and as long as you don't take a day off, you can take other people's business while they're on vacation, while they're napping, while they think that everything is fine, right? It's a volume business. Meet as many people as you can every single day. Do not take a day off for the first 3 years, and you will set yourself up for a massive career. It is not that hard. Like that is literally the answer. And it's going to be wild to me because only one person watching this is actually going to do it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's true. Well, to you one person out there, keep rocking it.
Keep rocking it,
Keep rocking it. A. I didn't drop an A. A.
There, you just dropped 2.
No, I didn't.
Right now you just
What are you talking about, A?
You don't hear it? There you go. There's 4th.
Sorry.
Yeah.
A.
Okay.
A, guys. So, but yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course,
It's been
man.
an absolute pleasure. And to everyone out there, we love you. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, tell your friends, families, aunts, uncles, your golden retriever, and your pet iguana. And we will see you on the next one. Peace.